3 new Sword Online series have been announced, and the new Sword Online alternative Gourmet Seekers has an official release date now, while the first couple of chapters continue to be released for free. I wanted to wait a bit for this video because out of the 4 series, one of them did not have an official page listing just yet, so I was hoping we'd eventually get it, but alas, I did my waiting, 3 weeks of it, not necessarily in Azkaban, and we still don't have a page listing for it just yet. Welcome SAO survivors, let's dive into those new series, all of them one by one, starting with Sword Online Alternative Gourmet Seekers release date, followed by a detailed look into Sword Online Alternative Mystery Labyrinth, which has a much longer title than just that, Sword Online If Anthology, and SAO Alternative Gambler's Honor. But before we dive back into Aincrad, we load into the sponsor of this video, Raid Shadow Legends. You heard it before, I heard it before, everyone and their grandmothers heard it before. Raid Shadow Legends is a free game on mobile devices. Not a mobile gamer yourself? No excuses, it's available for free on PC as well, with a total of over 80 million downloads. Raid Shadow Legends has lots to offer, more than 700 unique champions to use. I enjoy elegance, so naturally my favorite is Elenarel. You can just casually enjoy the game on your own in the campaign, or take on the PvE challenges like dungeons and bosses. I'm a PvE player myself, and that's my jam, but if you like PvP, you know, you can always tackle the PvP arena to challenge yourself against other players. With new updates every month featuring new characters, levels, events, there's never a dull moment in Raid Shadow Legends. If you join today, you can get the Monkey King Sun Wukong for absolutely free as a 7-day login bonus, who's an absolute beast, both literally and on the gameplay side of things. And it's not just that. Use the code JTSKIN, all caps, and receive a unique skin for the legendary hero Stag Knight, designed by Jontron himself. So, what are you waiting for? Use my link down below or scan the QR code right here to get a free starter pack with juicy loot to boost your progress. Complete the tutorial and meet all the players on the battlefield, eager to clear the challenges waiting for you. Thanks a lot to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video, but now let's return from the deep end of dungeons back into the chill town of beginnings of Aincrad. Sword Online Alternative Gourmet Seekers was announced a while back, taking place back in Aincrad of course, with 2 siblings, Yuzu and Hina, who got stuck in the game, working towards opening a new restaurant and meeting new people. I have a more detailed video on this series, you can check that out by tapping the icon on the top right corner, but to give you the gist of it, it is written by YA. The prologue chapters are being published for free on Dengeki no Komi website weekly. I'll link it down in the description, but it's all in Japanese of course, starting from Kayaba's tutorial announcement to meeting new people interested in food in the early days of SAO for now. It is the prologue after all. But later down the line, their goal is to open up a restaurant in Algate, the 50th floor, taking place much later in the game and potentially featuring a lot of potential cameos, since floor 50, it's kind of a huge hub floor with a lot of businesses and guild matters going on around. But again, if you want more details about the specific thing, there's gonna be my video waiting for you in the description, or, you know, top right, the icon. What we're gonna talk about here is the release date that's been announced, of course. The release date of Sword Online Alternative Gourmet Seekers has been announced as November 17, 2023. Alongside that announcement, we also had the full cover reveal. It's illustrated by Nagahama Megumi, and at the time of this recording, there's of course no news of an English translation by Yen Press, and you'll likely need to wait at least 6 months after the book has been released in Japan to even have a hope of hearing something about the English translation. Licensing does take a long time, and it very much remains a question if Yen Press will see an audience for such a spin-off in the Western market in the first place. Saying that because, for example, Sword Online Alternative Clover's Regret was never translated into English. The best thing you can do is to raise awareness for the series so far, Gourmet Seekers I'm talking about of course, and maybe contact Yen Press every once in a while to let them know that there is interest in the series, if you have interest of course. Don't, you know, spam ping them on Twitter or their emails, that's that's just annoying however you look at it. Even on the internet, there are manners, don't forget about them, just convey your interest in reasonable ways. Am I being too static the entire video? I'm literally just stuck on this one chair. Either way. But what about the other 3 new SAO series? 2 of them are also alternative series. Sword Art Online Alternative Gambler's Honor is one of them by Sudo Ren, and Sword Art Online Alternative Mystery Labyrinth by Konno Tenryu. And the third one is Sword Art Online If Official Novel Anthology by a lot of authors, including Sixawa Keiichi of the Alternative Gun Gale Online series. So let's start with Sword Art Online Alternative Mystery Labyrinth. Murder in the Labyrinth Manor, which is the full title of the book. It is written by Konno Tenryu and illustrated by Toda Shiho. This story will be taking place in Alfheim Online, featuring 2 main characters, a mystery detective and her assistant, who seems to be the main character that we are experiencing the events from the perspective of, chasing some events that happened back in Aincrad. The synopsis roughly reads, translated by Toka at SAO Wikia, and that's my cue to stop faking looking at the camera and actually conveniently read it from my screen over here. Crafted by the master of mysteries Konno Tenryu comes another death game. In the world of Alfheim Online, a young girl, Spica, running her own detective bureau, and I, her assistant, stumbled upon a diary written within the VR MMO known as Sword Art Online, a world where logging out was impossible. This diary contained a thorough description of a series of murders that occurred within a labyrinth. With Spica, a devoted mystery novel connoisseur determined to uncover the truth, we set out to the Sunshine Forest on the 20th floor, the very location of the crime scene, Labyrinth Manor. Now, not sure how exactly they will trace back a series of murders that transpired back in SAO in the new Aincrad of Alo. But in hindsight, tracing a murder that happened in Aincrad was impossible as well, since things just shatter into polygons, you know? So to me, it just seems like they're trying to retrace the steps and confirm the validity and the like for the thrill and narrative purposes, I guess, especially since Spica is a mystery novel enthusiast. Okay, I need to stop bringing the microphone in front of me. How am I supposed to advertise my nice t-shirts otherwise? Just keep it a little bit to the side. As for the setting itself, Floor 20 Sunshine Forest, you have seen it before in the anime, a very brief period of the Moonlit Black Cats episode with Sachi took place there, as Kirito was helping the crew grind and adapt Sachi into a shield user. Since it's tied to the series of murders that took place in Aincrad back in SAO, I would definitely hope for some cameos from the main series here, of course. As everyone can guess, not a Pooh or Johnny Black, but perhaps lower tier Laughing Coffin members like Morte or Buxum, but once again, in hindsight, that's also a bit unlikely because we don't know the fates of the progressive characters just yet, so that may just be an accident waiting to happen, like Argo causing Girls Ops to become non-canon. That was quite unfortunate from Reki himself. We'll see, you know, maybe a Red-Eyed Zaza or Johnny Black. Maybe they have more chances of a cameo here. SAO Alternative Mystery Labyrinth is set to come out on December 8, 2023, and the main reason I just filled this place with relevant anime scenes is because we don't even have a cover reveal yet. We'll likely get it sometime this month or the next, considering the release is a month after Gourmet Seekers and is still 3 months away. Now, let's turn our attention to Sword Art Online If Anthology. Unlike what most of you may think, this is not a novelization of the Integral Factor game. The if stands for what if. The book will be featuring a bunch of what if this and that happened instead of the main canon version, a concept most of you are likely familiar with from a variety of media. So this book, it will not be a one continuous story, but rather a collection of mini stories for various events in the series. For example, one of the stories is what if Pitohui logged into Sword Art Online. In the main canon of AGGO, she wanted to be a part of the full release but had a concert to attend to as Kanzaki Elsa and thus was never able to. Naturally, this story is going to be written by Sixawa Keiichi, the author of Alternative Gun Gale Online, and illustrated by the AGGO novel illustrator Kuroboshi Kohaku. Similarly, the Alternative Clover's Regret author Watase Soichiro will have a story with the illustrator of Clover's Regret, Ginta. Makino Keisuke will appear, known for the light novel Tsukito Laika to Nosferatu and the series Irina the Vampire Cosmonaut alongside the illustrator Kare, among others. It is going to be a large book though, 442 pages, that's about the same length as main series volume 18 Illustration Lasting, which is kind of a huge book by light novel standards. So within this story anthology, we can likely expect 4 or even perhaps 5 stories, if not more. Should be a fun experience to see what happens with these alternate stories. SAO itself is not necessarily new to the concept of alternate stories, even disregarding the gameverse continuity in this case. Caliber SS was a side story that acted as a bad ending for the Caliber side story, where Klein did not save Freya in this case, but I digress. Sword Art Online If Anthology will be coming out on November 10, 2023, and while Dengeki has no official cover illustration revealed just yet, I feel like the promotional image will end up being the cover anyways. Pull Asun and Heathcliff layer a little higher and you have a perfect cover ratio for a book with the iconic characters perfectly visible. And last but not least, well, actually least indeed, Sword Art Online Alternative Gambler's Honor. The reason I call it the least is literally because we barely have any information on this one. As I said, I delayed this video quite a bit just to wait for an official listing to appear with a synopsis and some information, but nothing came up thus far. This one, Gambler's Honor, it was so far only announced through Dengeki's own Twitter account, and the announcement tweet states, the third spin-off is Sword Art Online Alternative Gambler's Honor by Ren Sudo. Conquer the impregnable VR underground casino. A once-in-a-lifetime great gamble that bets on money, pride, and the future of VR MMO begins. Now, Ren Sudo, he is the name behind Gamblers Don't Pray series, so it seems like very much his alley, but that's as much as we know about this one. The description of the underground casino gives me Floor 7 vibes from Aincrad, but let's be real, with nothing known so far about the story or the book, this may as well just be a new shady VR game, you know? It can pretty much be anything. We just have no information on this one, and it can pretty much lead to anywhere. And considering we don't even have a page listing on the Dengeki website just yet, I'd expect this one to come out sometime next year. But that's all we got on the new Sword Art Online series that were promised, plus the Sword Art Online If Anthology that was not part of the promise. That was actually a nice surprise. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have questions, comment down below and I'll do my best to answer. But granted, this is more or less all we have right now on the topic. Feel free to make sure to like the video if you scroll down there for the comments. It always helps the channel, you know. A huge thanks to all my channel members and patrons, and as always, stay cool.